Morning, Danny.
Morning. Thanks for having me back on again.
Welcome back.
Morning. How are you?
I'm good.
I know it's always a struggle to wake you up and bring you here in the morning, but you make it every time.
Not a morning person, but once I start going, it's hard to stop me sometimes.
All right, good. So, what's happening now?
All right. Well, very interesting. I have a Caracou sloop, a Petit Martinique sloop actually, that I'm sailing up to Antigua and St. Bart's. I'm sailing up to Antigua for the Antigua Classic Regatta, which is one of the better classic regatta, international classic regattas. Then I will be sailing from there over to St. Bart's for the West Indies Regatta. Now there's a few different things happening, and this is actually a sponsored event. It's going to be sponsored by Port Louis Marina. It's going to be sponsored by by Port Louis Trading, which is the Savory Properties, Peter de Savory Properties. So among Cinnamon and the Port Louis project. It is also being sponsored by insurance consultants, by De La Grenade, by Fidel Productions. I'm talking with the Board of Tourism today. The intention is just to go up there, and I'm going up with over 300 Port Louis and Grenada t-shirts. I'm going up with all Grenada products. So like I said, De La Grenade, Crafts from Fidel Production. I'm trying to set up a meeting with Mr. Noel of Nutmed. And the intention is just to go up there and showcase Grenada and showcase yachting in Grenada. Nice. So the first thing that we will do is we will sail in the Antigua Classic Regatta. Hopefully, and we'll be racing against boats in other Caracou boats as well. So there's actually 12 Caracou sloops that are up there in Antigua already that we'll be racing against. And I have a connection up there with a chef from Grenada that lives in Antigua, so we're going to organize a big breakfast one of the mornings and just show people what Grenada food is all about, what Grenada spices is all about, what Grenada yachting is all about. We then leave there and we head across to St. Bart's to do the same thing. There's another regatta across there. It's actually a regatta only for Caracou sloops. And we're going to head across there, and apart from the racing, one of the events is a UNESCO-sponsored market day. So I'm going with the art of Grenada, with the craft of Grenada, with the products of Grenada, Grenada chocolate, I mean, you name it. And the intention is to just go out there and promote Grenada as much as we can. Now, UNESCO is doing this because they've realized that inter-island trade has decreased quite a lot. It's easy to get things from the US. It's hard to get things from Grenada to Antigua, from Grenada to Dominica, from Grenada to St. Bart's. So they want that trade to start up again. Right. And they figure that these small Caracou sloops used to do it, up until 20 years ago. There's no reason why it can't start again. So the intention is just, like I say, to go there. It's also been sponsored by MEAG, which is the Marine and Yachting Association of Grenada. So the intention is just, I am actually going on holiday, but I'm not the kind of person that can sit on a beach and not do anything for the whole day. I actually need to be doing stuff, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to go do these two very cool events, but I'm going to incorporate it and also try to get some Grenadians, get the products from Grenada out there as well. So I'll also go and look for the distributors in Antigua and St. Bart's and try and get De La Grenade products over to them, try and get Fidel Productions, art and craft over to them, try and get the Nutmed across to them, the Grenada chocolate across to them. And just go up there, give out t-shirts, give out Grenada yachting magazines, just do a complete, huge marketing blitz for Grenada.
Great stuff. That sounds like a really pushing right now.
Well, yeah, and it's also exciting stuff, because I have a lot of holiday stored up for me. I have over a month holiday because I can be a bit of a workaholic sometimes and I don't take holiday. So this month, this year, my boss kind of said to me, you better take a holiday this year because you're not going to have it next year. I said, you sure about that? And he says, yes. I said, well, it's a lot, He says, take it this year. So I'm finding a way to have a very interesting holiday, but also do some work as well and do something interesting. I'm all about doing interesting things with my life and getting out there and experiencing life. And I have a lot of friends in Antigua because I lived up there for about 5 years after university. Okay. And it's just going to be, it's going to be really interesting,
You say you hooked up with a chef up there as well? So
yeah.
You're actually going up there with saltfish and breadfruit
everything. We actually did the Antigua Classic about 3 years ago. So we sailed up and we did the event across there. And the same thing, we had an Antigua chef, Selwyn James, who is a Grenadian.
Oh, I know Selwyn James.
Yeah, he was actually one of the first West Indians to become a chef on a mega yacht. So he's been doing this for over 40 years now. He's very famous in yachting circles because his food is excellent. And 3 years ago, actually, and every time I go to Antigua and I put on a promotion in Antigua, he always cooks a very big meal and we invite people across to taste Grenadian food. So last December for the Antigua Classic, he was up there and we put on a huge spread. When I went up there, well, every year for the Antigua Classic, Antigua Charter Show, he does that. When I went up for the Classic about 3 years ago, he did the same thing. When I worked for the Board of Tourism about 6 years ago, he also put on a cocktail party for us aboard one of the yachts. So, you know, when we go up there, it'll be 12 Caracou sloops parked up next to each other. They'll all be flying the big Grenada flags, and we'll just be giving out the material, the Grenada Board of Tourism material, the Port Louis material, all of the product, you name it.
Wow. Nice. And how long is it going to take for you to sail up to Antigua?
It's going to take about 4 days to sail up to Antigua.
And then to St. Bart's?
And it's going to take me less than a day to get across there. And but I'll actually, when I'm doing the St. Bart's leg, I'll actually do that with 12 other boats. I mean, we'll all leave the Antigua Classic at the same time and sail across. And, you know, while I'm up there as well, I get a chance. I have family up there, so I get a chance to spend some time with my family, probably go sailing with them to Barbuda, check out Barbuda, do some fishing while I'm across there. Just
that's the holiday stuff, right?
Yeah, sounds good, sounds good.
So that's it, you know.
Yeah, well, we're definitely sending you off well. We're really excited. And you need to keep in touch with us when you're going.
I will.
Yes.
Skype.
I will.
We have Skype. We're gonna macro you.
Yeah, not a problem.
You know, make sure when you're in English Harbor, you know, tell us what's going on.
Not a problem. I also have a Facebook page for Savvy. It's called Savvy Grenada Sailing Charters, because the intention is once I come back to start a charter company, taking tourists out on day trips and you know charters of the Grenadines, etc. Charters along the West Coast. Just giving people, a tourism product that is unique to Grenada. It's a boat built here in Grenada. It's something that I think that any tourist, any Grenadian that wants something unique to do, they should do this because it is part of our heritage, it is part of our culture, and it's a beautiful boat, and it's something that they can definitely enjoy.
Well, Caracou definitely gets a lot of marketing exposure from this then. I mean, if you say there's 12 Caracou sloops going up there, so how is it really boosting for Caracou?
Oh, fantastic. There's a few things that has been done recently. There's a gentleman up there called Alexis Andrews. Now, Alexis is one of the top yachting photographers in the world. He's from Greece, but he's lived in Antigua for many years. He's married to a girl from Caracou. And a few years ago, well, about 10 years ago, he came down to Grenada for the first time. He was actually a social anthropologist at the time. And he came and he actually went to Windward and stayed with Windward with the folks up there for 6 months. And his intention was just to write a thesis for his master's on people in Windward. And he realized what an interesting set of people they were, you know, how they used the art of boat building that they had got from the Scots. But he also saw the decline of the industry. He saw that the sons and the grandsons weren't building the Caracou sloops anymore, but they were building small, fast cigarettes instead. I mean, they still had that culture of boat building, but they weren't building the old traditional schooners like they used to, and sloops like they used to before. So trade wasn't as much. The industry was just going down, and the art wasn't being passed on from father to son. So he basically wrote a paper on that, and he's also a very good photographer, so he took pictures along the way. What has happened since then is he has published 2 books, one called Vanishing Ways and one called Genesis. Now, Vanishing Ways is about the fact that the art of the Caracou boat building, which is very unique because there's not many places in the world that are still doing this. The art of boat building in Caracou was disappearing. He also, around that time, started building a boat as well, which he called Genesis. And his second book is called Genesis, and Genesis is about the regeneration of the art form, which is building these sloops in Caracou. And since then, you'd be surprised how popular those books have been and how many persons actually want to own one of these Caracou sloops. I mean, the captain of the Maltese Falcon, which is the most famous boat in the world, owns one of these sloops right now. That's just to give you an idea of you know, how sought after it is. He's also just finished producing a film about building boats in Caracou. And that is going to, I mean, right now he's trying to get that into the very, very famous film festival. I can't remember the name right now. Sundance Film Festival. So he's trying to get that into the Sundance Film Festival right now. It's an 8-minute documentary. You know, beautiful Caribbean music on it, and it just tells you every great old pictures as well. Because I mean, he's looked out, gone, and he's found the archives, and he's found these great pictures. He's obviously, like I said, a social anthropologist, so he's been talking to these people for many years. He's developed really good friendships with people in Windward, in Carriacou, and you know, people that are generally very closed off because they live in a small community have opened up to him, and I think now, for the first time, there's actually a good taste of that culture. And as far as I'm concerned, Carriacou actually has one of the more interesting cultures anyway, and the fact that, but a lot of it is never written down or is never spoken of, is just maintained there within Carriacou. And now for the first time it's actually out there, and anybody can read about it, you know, and it's something that I think would become an integral part of our tourism in years to come. In terms of people will pay good money to come down to Carriacou and actually learn how to build these boats, or just come down to Carriacou and spend a week with a master boat builder, helping him build a boat. Right. You'd be surprised how much money people would pay for this. Yeah. So it's an industry that will develop, I'm sure, over the years once the boat builders become savvy and realize that, you know what, I'm building this boat, but I could actually do something a little bit different on the side and make a few extra dollars. And well, you know, people in Grenada, they're always interested in having a panquai on the side. And,
exactly.
You know, making a little extra, money. So it's something that I think you'll see developing more and more over the years, and you'll see that Carriacou boat building culture being expanded and becoming an integral part of our tourism product.
Fantastic.
All right, so when do you set sail?
I set sail on Friday. I am gone for about a month or so. The Antigua Classic happens from the 19th to the 24th of April. You can go to www.antiguaclassics.com and you can get information on that. And then the West Indies Regatta in St. Bart's is from the 4th until the 7th of May. And well, you can Google that and get an email address for that. I actually think it's the westindiesregatta.com. And like I said, the market day there will be sponsored by UNESCO, so it's a very unique event. They're both very unique events that we can actually use to showcase Grenada and yachting in Grenada, so it's going to be an interesting journey. And on a side note, your co-host, Mark, is going to be joining me for the Antigua Classic Regatta, so he's going to be coming up for the weekend of as you know, Mark's a good friend, so he's going to be up there, and so I'm sure you'll get him on Skype and get some, get him actually working on his holiday as well up there. So
definitely.
So so we're going to fly the flag properly up there, and hopefully win. We'll see. We've just done a lot of work on the boat, so it's a lot faster than it used to be, and it's going to be good to be racing against a wooden boat and not a fiberglass boat, because the fiberglass boats are a lot faster than mine is and Savvy is. So it's going to be good to be racing against other slow boats.
I think we need to give him a little daybreak flag as well,
Yeah, we gotta organize a daybreak flag
all the way in Antigua.
I'll do it.
Man, definitely.
Not a problem.
Definitely. We'll work on something before you leave on Friday. All right, thank you very much, Danny, for coming. Even when you're on holiday, still pushing Grenada to the fullest. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Danny Donelan of Camp Nicholson, going up to Antigua and St. Bart's, waving our flag all the way. All right, so good luck, Danny, on your trip.